What if the delicious foods you love are secretly working on a much deeper level inside your body?
Yeah, like beyond just calories, right? Beyond energy.
Exactly. What if food is actually sending information or maybe even instructions for your fundamental health?
Mm-hmm.
So for this deep dive, our mission is, well, we've got this stack of fascinating sources, and we want to unpack this very idea, explore how, everyday ingredients might influence our body's most powerful defense systems.
And look, this isn't about getting bogged down in rigid diets or anything like that. It's really about understanding the incredible science, how food actually communicates with our biology.
Right, leading to real impacts.
Real tangible impacts on our health, yeah. And even longevity.
Yeah.
Get ready for some aha moments, I think. It'll definitely change how you look at your plate.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're starting with something many consider your body's, master builders, stem cells.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, what are stem cells really? Why are they so foundational?
Absolutely. So think of them like the fundamental building blocks from way back when we were first formed. In the womb, what's amazing is maybe 700,000 of them stick around even after we're born.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, mostly hanging out in our bone marrow, the lining of our gut, but also, hiding out in our hearts and brains too. And they're constantly working, regenerating crucial parts of us: hair, skin, liver, blood vessels, nerves.
So they're like these incredible tiny repair crews, constantly keeping us renewed. But what slows them down? What can blunt their activity?
Well, several things can injure or cripple their activity. High doses of alcohol, for one. Not just an occasional glass, we're talking high amounts.
Again,
Also, metabolic states like high blood sugar, diabetes,
Yeah.
those really impair them. And even things like high levels of chronic stress, that can definitely affect our stem cells, sort of stun them so they're not quite as eager to rebuild our organs.
right, stress gets everything.
Yeah.
So given they can be vulnerable, how can we actually boost them? Fortify these master builders with what we eat?
Yeah, and it's quite remarkable how effective certain foods can be. There was a study in Spain, looked at elderly folks on a Mediterranean diet, and those who followed it closely had 5 times the number of stem cells circulating in their blood compared to those who didn't.
5 times, that's huge.
It is, and it shows it's about the pattern of food, the synergy of lots of good things, not just one so-called magic ingredient.
Makes sense.
Then there's tea, both green tea and, perhaps surprisingly, black tea too. Studies show they can double the number of stem cells.
Okay, green tea I hear about all the time, but black tea too. Interesting. What about something maybe a bit more indulgent, like chocolate? Does that have a role?
Dark chocolate. That's another really fascinating one. There was a clinical study, UCSF, I believe, showed that people drinking 2 cups of hot chocolate, but this was specific stuff, made with 80% high flavanol dark chocolate.
Okay, not your average hot cocoa mix.
Definitely not. They drank it twice a day for a month, and it literally doubled their circulating stem cells.
Doubled them. That's really incredible. I think for a lot of listeners, associating chocolate with health might feel like a stretch. Can you explain a bit more? What makes this kind of chocolate so powerful? How's it different from, say, a regular candy bar?
Right. It's all about the natural chemicals in the cacao bean itself, particularly polyphenols called proanthocyanidins, powerful plant compounds. And the study didn't just show more stem cells, it also vastly improved blood flow. Doubled the resiliency and function of blood vessels, actually, in 60-year-olds who already had heart disease.
Wow.
It's like these compounds literally call out the stem cells, almost like bees flying out of a hive, directing them where they need to go for repair.
Like sending out a signal flare.
Exactly. And just on another related note, matcha tea. In lab settings, extracts from matcha have even been shown to kill breast cancer stem cells.
Cancer stem cells.
Yeah, which is a huge deal, sort of a holy grail in cancer treatment, because we don't currently have a drug that specifically targets those.
Okay, let's shift gears. Next up, DNA. We usually think of it as, our genetic code, maybe like a fingerprint. But you're saying it's much more.
Oh, absolutely. It's way more than just a blueprint. Our DNA is actually a protective mechanism. It's hardwired to fix itself. Think about all the damage it faces constantly. UV light from the sun causing sunburn, chemical fumes in the air, maybe radon from your basement.
Even off-gassing from a new car.
Yeah, or new furniture. Our DNA is constantly working, repairing itself, trying to prevent that damage from snowballing into serious problems like cancer.
So this constant self-repair, what does that mean for our plates? Can food actually help speed up that repair? help fix holes in our DNA?
They absolutely can. And then there's this related concept, telomeres.
Ah, yes. Telomeres.
All right, think of your DNA like a shoelace. Yeah, the telomere is that little plastic cap on the end.
The aglet.
Exactly. And over time, that cap naturally wears down. It's like a life fuse burning down bit by bit. But harsh things, smoking, being sedentary, a couch potato, and even chronic stress, they accelerate that shortening. They make that fuse burn faster.
So it's like our biological clock is literally ticking down, and those factors are hitting the fast forward button. Makes sense. But the idea that food can not only slow it down, but maybe even lengthen them, that sounds revolutionary.
Yeah.
How significant is that lengthening effect, really, for aging?
It's incredibly significant for cellular aging. And the good news is, yes, certain foods can slow the shortening process down. And some studies suggest certain foods might even help lengthen telomeres.
Which ones?
Well, things like green tea, coffee again, and leafy greens are often highlighted in studies for having this powerful effect.
Coffee, too.
It really empowers us. It shows we can actually influence our own biological clock through what we choose to eat and drink.
Okay, next big system. Let's dive into the gut microbiome. We're talking, 39 trillion bacteria in a typical body.
That's the estimate, yeah. It's staggering. More bacteria than stars you can see in the night sky.
Wow. So what's this huge internal ecosystem doing for us?
Oh, it's a vast, incredibly complex internal world. Its roles are really far-reaching. What we know is this gut bacteria controls our metabolism. It communicates directly with our brain.
How does it do that?
Through the vagus nerve, mostly. Think of it like text messages being sent constantly up to the brain, affecting mood, potentially cognitive function, and maybe most surprisingly, about 70% of our entire immune system actually lives in the gut lining.
70%.
In the gut.
Yep.
And it's constantly talking directly to these bacteria, like roommates pounding on the wall, communicating back and forth.
And the science now is also revealing these fascinating links, right? Between gut bacteria and conditions like autism, Alzheimer's, even schizophrenia.
That's right. The connections are becoming clearer and clearer. It's a very active area of research.
So given its huge impact, how can we, as you say, right-size this delicate ecosystem with food? Like tending to a garden or a Great Barrier Reef inside us?
It's actually very achievable with food choices. Take kiwi fruit, for instance. Just eating 2 kiwis a day for only 4 days can measurably change the makeup of your gut bacteria. For the better, boosting the beneficial ones.
That's 4 days. That's fast.
It can be, yeah. And then you have fermented foods, yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut. These contain healthy bacteria, probiotics that have been part of human diets for centuries for good reason.
Traditional wisdom meets modern science.
Exactly. And then there's pomegranate. This fruit has a specific bioactive compound, an elagitanin. What it does is it causes the gut lining to secrete more mucus. And there's a key bacteria called Akkermansia mucinifera that absolutely loves to grow in that mucus.
Akkermansia. Okay. And why is that one important?
Well, Akkermansia seems to be really important for fortifying the immune system, among other things.
This raises a really important question, though. How relevant is this kind of detailed microbial know-how to, real-world health outcomes? Does boosting one specific bacteria really make a tangible difference?
Oh, it's profoundly relevant. And I've actually seen this firsthand. This mechanism, understanding Akkermansia, is now changing how we think about supporting cancer patients, for example. It became very personal for me. My own mother, she was in her 80s, diagnosed with advanced endometrial cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the prognosis was not good. She was basically told there was no chance to survive, and chemo might even be worse than the disease at her age. So we did a deep dive into her specific tumor's immune response, and we tailored her diet specifically to support Akkermansia mucinifera, lots of pomegranate juice, among other things.
And what happened?
Well, after 3 immunotherapy treatments, just 9 weeks later, she achieved a complete remission. No chemotherapy needed.
Complete remission.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was. Now, obviously, her case was complex. Immunotherapy played a huge role, but the dietary support was a critical piece of the puzzle. It really illustrates this profound shift in understanding the connection between food, our microbiome, and our immune system.
That's a powerful story, and it leads us right into the immune system itself. After the last few years, the pandemic, we all know how vital it is. But the idea that it could be so powerful, even at 80, like your mother, that it could fight and potentially wipe out metastatic cancer. How does this internal army actually work?
It's truly like having an army of super soldiers inside you. Think Rangers, SEALs, Marines, different specialized units all working together. It patrols our body constantly like cops on the beat, always looking for trouble, like microscopic cancers that pop up all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, far more often than people realize. But a healthy immune system spots them and takes them out like with a sniper shot before they can ever grow into a detectable tumor.
So protecting and boosting this immune system is absolutely crucial.
Absolutely critical.
Okay, so what foods can give this incredible internal army a boost? We mentioned blueberries earlier, great for natural killer cells, young and old. But let's talk broccoli.
Ah, broccoli, yes. The key compound there is sulforaphane. It's a potent plant chemical known for its protective effects. It's actually what gives broccoli that unique, slightly sulfurous taste.
Right?
Now, most people eat the treetops, the florets, and they have sulforaphane for sure. But the stalk of the adult broccoli, it actually has twice as much.
Twice as much in the stalk. I usually throw that bit out.
Don't throw it out. Many cultures know this. They'll chop it up, saute it, blend it into smoothies or soups. It's packed with the good stuff.
Good tip. But now, okay, here's the really wild part I read. Broccoli sprouts. They have something like 100 times more sulforaphane than the grown-up broccoli.
That's right. 100 times. The concentration is incredible in those tiny sprouts.
So what kind of impact can that level of concentration have on our immune response? Is there evidence?
There is. Some really interesting studies. One gave people a flu shot. Half got the shot plus a placebo shake. The other half got the shot plus about 2 cups worth of broccoli sprout shake a day.
Okay.
The group drinking the broccoli sprout shake, they had a 22 times higher immune response to the vaccine compared to the placebo group.
22 times.
22 times. It's not just, food versus medicine. This is a powerful example of food and medicine working together, making everything work even better by supercharging our body's own defenses.
Okay, mind blown on the broccoli sprouts. Let's move beyond these amazing defense systems for a moment and explore some core principles, maybe a broader food philosophy. The first one you mentioned is drink the Trinity. What's that about?
Right. So you walk to a grocery store, the beverage aisle.
Oh.
It's overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
So many choices, so much confusion about what's actually healthy. But amidst all that, there are 3 beverages that are pretty much unquestionably healthy. Very little controversy around them.
Okay, the healthy Trinity. What's number 1?
Number 1, no surprise, water. Absolutely critical, hydration, metabolism, even regulating your appetite. But there's a crucial footnote here, especially nowadays. Bottled water. It almost certainly contains microplastics.
Microplastics. Yeah.
As an acquaintance of mine once put it quite starkly, either you get a filter or you become the filter.
Wow. Okay, that's a memorable line.
Well,
So filtered water preferably. What's the second healthy beverage?
the second is tea. It's the second most popular beverage in the entire world, after water. And we talked about green and black tea boosting stem cells, but let's look at others. Matcha tea, for instance. It's grown in the shade, right?
Right.
That process boosts its polyphenol content by 30 to, believe it or not, 300 times compared to regular green tea.
300 times.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's a powdered whole leaf, you're actually consuming all those benefits directly, including dietary fiber, which is great for your gut. And remember, those lab studies showing matcha extracts killing breast cancer stem cells.
Okay, matcha is powerful. What else in the tea category?
Well, there's oolong tea. That's a slightly fermented green tea. Also linked to metabolic benefits, studies showing it helps shrink waist size. And then maybe one people are less familiar with, pu'er tea.
Pu'er. How do you spell that?
P-U-E-R-H. It's this smoky, deeply fermented tea from China. It was traded on the Silk Road for thousands of years. What's amazing is studies show pu'er tea actually lights up brown fat in the body, the good kind of fat that burns energy. It triggers fat burning. And get this, it even contains a unique probiotic bacteria that survives the fermentation, which we're informally calling pu'erless. It's literally a probiotic tea.
A probiotic tea that helps burn fat. Okay, that's a pretty remarkable combination.
Yeah, it really is.
And the third beverage in this powerful trinity.
The third part of the trinity is coffee. Good news for many listeners, I suspect.
Definitely.
Coffee contains chlorogenic acid and other polyphenols. These also boost health defenses, help metabolism, and yes, as we mentioned, studies link coffee drinking to longer telomeres.
It's fascinating, isn't it? These are all everyday drinks, things many of us already enjoy. And now we understand these profound science-backed benefits behind them. Okay, finally, let's touch on a broader philosophy you talked about. Live to eat.
Hmm.
We usually hear that phrase used negatively, right? Like it implies gluttony or something. But you're completely reframing it. What does live to eat really mean in this positive context?
Yes, exactly. It's about flipping that script. It's about not fearing our food. It's about truly savoring it. The idea is that the very foods that taste wonderful, the ones we crave, can actually be incredibly good for us, especially when we're mindful about how we eat them, when we eat them, the combinations. And this concept, it's deeply woven into many human traditions, particularly Mediterranean and Asian cultures.
You mentioned your gap year experience in Italy and Greece. Tell us a bit about how that shaped your view on this.
Yeah, that was formative. I spent time embedded with families, even cooking at a monastery for a while.
Cooking at a monastery.
Yeah, I distinctly remember stirring this absolutely enormous pot of beans with what looked like a canoe paddle for the big Easter feast.
That's quite an image.
It was. But what struck me everywhere was how deeply people in those cultures connect with their food. They talk about it constantly. They plan meals with anticipation. They relish the flavors, the company. It's the absolute opposite of just, shoveling in fuel to get through the day.
Right, the eat to live mentality we often have.
Exactly. So, this concept of living to eat, the way I see it, is about embracing the joy, being like a food hunter forager, but in our modern world. It's about loving your food, appreciating the history, the culture behind it, and knowing that the science is now catching up, confirming why these delicious traditional ways of eating are actually so beneficial for our biology.
So we've taken quite a journey here, a deep dive into this incredible information, these instructions that food provides to our body's key health defense systems: stem cells, DNA repair, the gut microbiome, our immune system. We've seen how simple choices with a cup of tea, a piece of that high flavanol dark chocolate, even a broccoli sprout shake can have really profound effects. And this isn't just theory, it's backed by some pretty compelling human studies.
Exactly. And it's not just about food as medicine. It's more like food and medicine, where the natural technology found in food works with our body's own innate capabilities. It's really about empowering your own health, understanding that your body has this extraordinary capacity for self-repair, for regeneration, and that you can actively support it.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you move forward from this conversation?
Well, maybe consider this. The next time you sit down for a meal, try not to just think of it as fuel or calories. Think of it as starting a conversation with your body. What instructions are you giving it with this particular plate of food? And maybe also consider, how might embracing that joy, that live to eat philosophy, not just nourish your physical body, but actually enrich your entire human experience? It's a truly provocative thought, I think. Definitely something worth exploring further.